Couple of visitors for the first time today. And we'll have you stand up and introduce yourself a little bit further into the program. Hi, George. Hi, everybody. Hi, Jen. Hi, Pam. Hi, did everybody get the word that we have lunch coming in and we didn't even have to do any work? So simple sandwiches and all the goodies. I think Deb said she made cookies. So awesome, Deb. And, just to kind of, hey, TC, welcome back. We put the dove out. I thought just in case we're not here next week, there's a chance that we will be here next week. So, but just in case, I put our peace dove out, which was under the good care of Ferraro family over the past year. So there she is, La Paloma. So welcome everybody. Is it warm? Is it cool enough or do we need is it okay? It's okay. Okay, welcome everyone. Today's opening song, I feel kind of like we want to celebrate a wee bit because I noticed on the dedication to On the Hill in the hymn book or the songbook, it said it was written by Doug Katsaros. Who knows him or knew him? Knows him? For the dedication when we became a peace site in 1984, 40 years ago. So I feel like this is a big year, 40 years as a peace site. One of the very first, it's my understanding. And new people, we have dogs are welcome here. So there's our first one. Normally we have a little duo of dueling Chihuahua / whatever's they are, and who are having relationship problems lately. So, but they'll be here because Nancy's doing, they better be here because mom's doing chair yoga a little bit later on. So I hope Nancy will be here soon. The bigger, right, right. Speaking, this is the second time I said speak of the devil today. I was talking about Raphael and then he walked and there's Nancy out there now. So I just can manifesting miracles here. Hi, we were just talking about the Cookie and Levi. And Dave said one of them needs to suck it up and be the bigger dog. So I don't know which one of those it might be. Hi, Jen. Okay, so 3, 4. So we have a 12-legged here today. 3 4-leggeds. All right. Well, let's stand up and sing On the Hill. It's our theme song. It's our anthem. So celebrating 40 years. Oh, and just before we start, who was here then? Larry Hall, Moose. Who was here in 1984? These are the really, really old people here that are here. Yes, yes. And then we passed it by 40 years. Okay, let's do this. Unfortunately, Barb Wycamp was gonna be a song leader today, but she and Nick have gone on a little vacation. So if anybody else wants to get up here and lead this, that'd be great. But anyway, let's do this. Sometimes you're lost, sometimes you're lonely, sometimes you're only a part of the whole. Sometimes you feel that the answer is fading, though you have been waiting and searching your soul to go. the answer? Who's the dancer and where is the song? Where is the drama? Here. Here on the hill, it's been all along. On the hill, you can see very clearly. On the hill, you can be who you are. On the hill, you can hide like a shadow. On a hill, you can shine. On the hill, your family. On the hill, you can do what you want. You are one, like a flame on the sun, like a pebble on the hill. Sometimes you're lost, sometimes you're lonely, sometimes you're only a part of the whole. Sometimes you feel that the answer is fading, though you have been waiting and searching your soul, working for peace, our dedication of creation is second to none. There's room for the future to grow and expand, holding your hand. It's only begun. On the hill, you can see very clearly. On the hill, you can be who you are. On the hill, you can hide like a shadow. On the hill, you can shine like a star. On the hill, with your family. On the hill, you can dream what you will. We are one, like a flame on the sun, like a bell. We are one, like a flame on the sun, like a bell. Yay. Nice. Okay, beautiful. All right, and because we do have visitors, let's shout out the words that are kind of the words that we try and live by here. They're on the wall. This is called our Pebble Credo. So Nance, join us in the credo. She's got the social, she's also the social butterfly of Pebble. So join me. We live a life by love transformed, by spirit empowered, by creative imagination guided, in peace with all. Yay. And that's the only thing you'll hear that is kind of sounds memorized like churches. Like sometimes I'll start to say like real church and like traditional church, like a traditional church. We're not super traditional, but I think that's why we like it, right? Many of us have come from other traditions and just found our way here because everything is welcome. Ideas, as long as they're well-intended, rooted in goodness and peace and justice, and without any particular doctrine. So, and now I would like to invite our dear Mr. Bill Metler to light the peace candle.
Oh, boy.
And he hasn't thought of anything to say, I'm sure.
I love your working the ivory here. Raphael, you are a gift.
So microphone either that.
True. Can I use this?
Sure.
Get lots of game. I have a friend. Her name is Tina Devine. We joke with her, it sounds like an exotic dancer. She studied with a Zen teacher. And at the end of their study, the Zen teacher gave her her mission. And her mission is to bring joy to people with her voice. She is a poet, and she wrote this lovely poem about, it's really about gratitude. It was sent to me as a Valentine in 2005. And this Valentine reflects the winter season, which I thought would be fun here in the middle of summer. And it makes a beautiful connection, I believe, to peace through gratitude. Sometimes on a night like this, when the whole household drifts in dreams, and I'm tucked away under the covers, wide-eyed, waiting. Darkness cloaks the objects in the room, and the moon illuminates the frosted ice patch on the window as if portending celestial visitation. Sometimes on these nights within my chest, I feel a spin, a gentle whirring, like a music box may be in there. But instead of making music, it makes feelings. And these feelings are so happy. They ribbon out of me in a wide, multicolored stream. And I think, how fortunate to be alive, how lucky to feel this. Drawn by the moon, I rise out of bed, clad in goosebump pajamas. In the clear glass above the translucent ice sheen on the snow-spangled window, my breath clouds the empty pane as I whisper, I love you. It's meant for the world and the belled sky and the unimaginable mystery that waits just at the edge of things. And it's meant for you too. Did you know that? It's meant for you.
Thank you, Bill. And your friend, say her name again. Tina Devine. Beautiful. Okay, now let's welcome our visitors today, Estee and Cheryl. Would you mind just standing and saying your name and telling us a little bit about you? Welcome, Estee. And her mom. Welcome. People like to say welcome home. And now in the event that we are out from next Sunday on for a little while, we will be on Zoom. And I asked the ladies if they're, they are able to do that, and they are. So just look for, they found us from the website. And so the Zoom link is always in there. And I was thinking, I still have I have some fond memories of the Zoom days. We did it, it was almost a year. It was 15 months. We went out in March. We didn't really get our groove on until about late April or early May. And we came back July 11th, 2021. And that, who I was thinking about today? I was thinking about Florence and having memories of Florence, because, she was just kind of transitioning during those years. And we'd be on Zoom, and I do this too. Like, you're always kind of looking at yourself, right? Like, how cool do I look? Is my hair, right? And Florence is right up there, just totally adjusting her wig and getting her groove on. And then when we came back on July 11th, it was a festive day. It was a fun day. I don't know if you remember, but I had a great dress. Florence had a great dress too. And we had just started to kind of have a little rivalry, for like best dress at Sunday celebration. So bless her heart. We miss you, Florence. Let's just remember her for a moment. We miss you, Florence. Some of you didn't do Zoom during that time, and I would encourage you to give it a go. It's kind of nice to just stay home with your own coffee that you made, and you can be in your pajamas and you can be outside, whatever. But welcome you, encourage you to give it a try. And it may not be very long. We're making good progress. And as a matter of fact, I think Jeff probably wants to announce something now or say something now. So, well, it's announcements. So.
She's right. We're close to having a new insurance carrier. We've heard a lot of stories about our old carrier having exceeded the liability rate that's approved by AM Best for carrying churches, and they would be devastated and wiped out. And AM Best didn't want that. So they dropped churches all over the country, especially, I understand, in areas of high risk like Texas with hurricanes and flooding, so that they look squeaky clean. But then it's sent terror through the insurance industry, and no one wants to pick up much. But we're lucky we have a insurance broker who's working well with Alan got him. I tried 3 other ways. They're in the wings, but Alan got him. And it looks very likely that by the end of August, with proof that we're installing a different fire alarm system that doesn't just ring bells in the building, but actually sends a message to the fire department, will be covered. Right. And then once this is all installed, it drops in 2,500 instead of 10,000. So no smoking.
So that's all good news, and they've been working hard. So a round of applause for Jeff and Alan.
Good morning, everyone. So I have an announcement. It's a little bit of a sad one, but it's a happy one too. I'm sure some of you remember my first Chihuahua, Puka. I rescued him when he was 9 years old, smallest and oldest dog at the rescue, but I just couldn't resist him. He was so cute. And Tuesday is his anniversary of his passing. So I wanted to bring a picture of him in, one of my favorites. This is from the hair salon. He was sitting there and one of my customers said, "Oh, I'm gonna take a picture of that." So that's Mr. Schmooey. I'm going to leave him up
Mhm.
here. He was just a joy to have. Didn't bark. And also there's a wonderful navy blue sun hat out there, probably look great on you, Barb, that somebody gave me and insisted on giving me, even though I told them I had plenty of sun hats and didn't want any more. But I got it, so it's sitting out there. And it's navy blue and it's big and floppy and fun. And Artist Way will be after celebration.
Yeah, after
and
lunch.
Lunch today. There?
There you go. Perfect.
There's Spooky or Schmooky. He had many names, lots of AKAs. That
Okay.
Janet, oh, of course it's Janet. She loved Puka. Hi, Janet.
And Nancy will be back in just a few minutes for chair yoga and contemplative. Gary Schoenberg, go for it.
Hello, can you hear me?
Not very well. Try again.
Hello, hello?
Yeah, there you go.
Okay. I am on Zoom today. I'm preemptive for next week. I was at Pebble last night and I decided not to travel because it was Derek Marshall's concert last night, which was a really wonderful event. We had about 14 people show up and it was an excellent album release party. We had folks, Sally Marshall, Derek's mom was there, Sue Bartles, Sharon Kirk, Ken. So thank you for all those folks who showed up, who've been part of Pebble's past. And Derek, a plug for Derek's CD, Derek's album rather. It's really has so many different kinds of levels of music. Some of it is sort of nostalgic about the being a young man, having wishful thoughts for a better world, looking at humanity. Rock and roll has got some sound like some music that sounds like David Bowie, Tom Petty. So I was listening to all the 9 different tracks that are part of his album. I really encourage you it's on Bandcamp if you want to buy for $7. It's under Derek Marshall, so look it up. I'll put it out on the Pebble announcements if anybody wants to purchase his album. I really it's a great tribute to Derek and all that he has been doing. It really, what an accomplishment. So kudos to Derek.
Great. Thanks, Gary.
Oh, Joanne.
In the flesh. Dave?
I'd like to announce that I, King Baby, am suspending my race to be President Emperor of the United States because I have come to realize that the best man for the job is a woman.
Amala means lotus in India, but it means POTUS in America. Didn't say that. I didn't say that.
I am now a celebrity in Taiwan. Many of you know I work in the city as a tour guide. So I was on my break and I'm sitting on a bench near the Liberty Bell, and there's a female journalist up from DC who writes stories for and cover stories for Taiwan. And she was in Philadelphia to interview people to find out what they thought about Democrats, Republicans, and what's happening politically in the country. And I got interviewed, and I had Pebble on my mind, and I'm not exactly sure. I can't remember now if I mentioned Pebble, but as a place where we listen to one another. And I said, both Democrats and Republicans both have good ideas. The challenge is to listen to one another and work together. And I think I might have said, I would put them both in a room, whatever the issue is, put them both in a room, and you can't leave the room until you come up with a solution, But that was, the gist of my message was unity. Was unity that whatever candidate, whoever's going to be the leader, their emphasis has to be bringing people together and stop the divisiveness, what's happening in this country now. So I was just pleased. I was pleased. She sent me the article, and I'm a celebrity now in Taiwan.
Okay. Yay, Norm. And
Representing the city of brotherly love and sisterly affection.
go Phillies.
And go Phillies.
Nancy, did you have something else? Okay.
He dated Susan Manning for some time. Anniversary of his passing.
Okay. Well, let's say his name during the prayers at that time. That would be wonderful. George. Okay. How about, are there any birthdays this week coming up? First week of August. Okay.
My grandson's birthday
All right.
is
Should we
today.
sing to us because it's
Famous
40 years
Sawyer.
since we became a peace site? Let's do that. Let's do that. Happy birthday, we love us. Happy birthday, may Andy and Dave, we were just singing happy birthday to Pebble for being 40 years a peace site. And those of you who might have come in a little bit after the opening song, we sang On the Hill, which was written for that occasion in 1984. So all is well here at Pebble. Okay, let's, after we get our last couple of chairs opened and quiet, it'll be time for our healing prayers when we remember all the people we love, all the people we worry about, all the people in our hearts, all the people everywhere. We are surrounded by the light so bright. We are surrounded by God's healing love light. We are surrounded by the light so. We are surrounded by God's healing love light. I ask for prayers for all of the Olympic athletes, their families, their coaches, their trainers, the medical people, everyone who has supported them all along their way. May they be well. May they do their best. May they feel safe, especially athletes from war-torn countries. and countries where just the presence of these athletes may be controversial. I ask for prayers for all candidates for elections on all levels and all election staff. May that not be a risky job to sit at the polls and welcome people to exercise their right to vote. We pray for Barbara Weickamp on the passing of her mother, for Diana Young and her family, for Maria Starr, injured by being hit by a car, for dear Janet Berkowitz, for Bill Metler, who's so grateful for our healing prayers as he begins his treatment tomorrow. For Chris LaRue's recovery from surgery, for Nancy's relationship with her sister Susan, and for already mentioned Cookie and Levi. For Tina Meckies and Dave's friends, Diane Bynum and Kelly Benson, and Dave's cousin, Louise Riney. For dear Annie Marins, who was here but can't stay today. For Chris Coolish and her father, Tony, now 101. For Chris Engelhart and Wanda Canfield. Marilyn Stauffer. The Ferrara family and Jen's friend, Larry Hackett. For continued prayers and blessings for Latoya and her daughter, Ayana. For Barbara Atkinson's daughter, L'Oreal, and L'Oreal's sister, Genesis. And Barbara's brother-in-law, Ed. For Chloe Eisman and her son, Joe, for their relationship. For Judy Henderson's continuing recovery from eye surgery. For Suzanne Wolf. Now, please say the names aloud of people that you are praying for, or say them in your heart. We ask that there be an end to war and hunger in our world, and that we may all work to lessen the suffering in this world. May the earth and all her life forms be cherished and allowed to thrive. And may the good that surrounds us be magnified. Now, if this is the anniversary of the passing of someone you know or love, please say that person's name. Nancy, would you repeat that? Nancy, were you going to say the person's name? George Gulick. Okay, thank you. Are there others who we need to remember at this time? Okay. Pam. Lynn Green. We are surrounded by the light so bright. We are surrounded by God's healing love light. We are surrounded by the light so. We are surrounded by God's healing love light. Oh. Now Nancy will lead us in contemplative chair yoga.
Yep, that'll be fine. Well, they'll all hear me, and those people can't see me anyway. Whoops. Now they can. Oh, great. Good morning, everyone. So I thought this would be a perfect introduction after the prayers when everyone's in a quiet space to begin with. So if you can, both feet on the floor, hands on the lap, facing up for receiving. First, we're just going to center ourselves. So I want you to close your eyes and breathe in love right into your body, right into your heart. And then breathe out peace. Now breathe in peace. And breathe out joy. Breathe in joy into your heart. And breathe out gratitude. Breathe in gratitude right into your heart. And breathe out love to all beings on the planet. Now I want you to imagine that right in front of you, out at about 2 feet, so not very far, far enough where your aura field is, and see a blue flame, beautiful blue flame. And then take that blue flame and circle around your body from the right. Watch it go all the way around you in a great big circle and then come back and connect to it and then see that beautiful hoop, just kind of like the Olympic hoops, only it's lit with a beautiful blue flame. And on top of that blue flame, now see a green flame, the green flame of healing. So we have peace and healing encircling us and cleansing our aura field from any dis-ease, discomfort, dissatisfaction, anything negative that is in that aura field, from your dreams, from anything that happened yesterday or any time in the past. See it burning up, burning up, burning up. And as the smoke starts to clear, imagine coming through your crown chakra at the top of your head, gold light coming down around your body, and then on the outside, enclosed in that aura field, silver sparkles. So there's sparkles, gold and silver all around you, full of peace and joy and love, gratitude, happiness. See if you can feel a little lighter because you've gotten rid of the negativity and brought all the positive energy into your body. Put a big smile on your face, smile in your heart. Bring your hands together and put them in front of your heart. And open your eyes, keeping your hands there. Ready? We're going to lift them up, 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 up. Take your eyes with it all the way up and then open the eyes and take the hands wide and look. Take your hands level with your shoulders. Look over to your right hand. Look over to your left hand. Bring the hands down. Look over to the right. Look over to the left. Now come to center and circle those arms in one direction. And if your shoulders start to feel grumpy, now the other direction, you can drop them down and make sure you're not holding yourself up like this by your ears. Your shoulders are nice and relaxed. Now we're going to bring the hands back together on our knees. Ready? We're going to lift the left shoulder up and then drop it down really hard. Lift the right shoulder up and drop it down really hard. Oh, lift both shoulders up, 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 and then pull them back and down. Lift them up again. Bring them forward and down. Now, take your head over to the right. Bring that hand out again. Take that hand, put it on top of the head. Turn the head back to center and see if you can really gently bring it over to that right shoulder. And remember, you're not up like this. The shoulder's nice and relaxed. Now rotate the elbow. Yep. Then take it back. Shake a little bit. Take the hand back up. Take it across the body. Take the left hand. Take it across the body. Lift the shoulders up. This is a real grumpy one for most people. Lift them up. Lift them up. Ooh, take them to the right. Oh, ouchie, ouchie. Ready? Come back to center. Take them to the other side. And then bring them down and drop it. There we go. Other side. Left hand out. Up. Grab your head very gently and pull it ever so slightly. So the ear is getting closer to the shoulder. Remember, keep the shoulder drop down. It's not up here, right? Very far down. Good. Now take that hand up. Cross it over. Give yourself a pat. Doing a great job. Ready? Other side. Lift the shoulders up. 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 Does it feel a little bit better this way? It does for me. And then bring them down. Now you're going to take them behind you and interlace your fingers. Draw the shoulder blades down and back. And then I want you to kind of come forward in your chair a little bit so you can lean back a little bit. Then you're going to kind of drop the head back ever so slightly, not so it hurts, just ever slightly. And then see if you can bring the hands out a little bit. Oh, shoulders, shoulders, shoulders. And then bring them back down and roll that out. Okay. Now, this is a fun one. So just keep your feet uncrossed. You're going to take that right hand again, and you're going to drop it down, and you're going to kind of come in and grab your left waist. Take your left hand onto the right knee. And now, pull yourself over to the other side. So whatever hand's on your knee, that's when you're pulling yourself over. So you're doing a nice little side twist. Stay nice and tall and erect. Don't drop your neck either way. And even take your eyes over to that side. And then release all that. And then the opposite of what we just did. Whatever hand you had on the knee, up one knee, you get on the other, you're going to grab around and grab your waist. You're going to sit up nice and tall, and you're going to pull yourself over to the right or left, whichever way it is that you didn't do yet. And take your neck with you, take your eyes with you, take everything with you. Take a deep breath here. And as you exhale, release all of that. And then we're going to do a little leg exercise. You're going to see if you can bring your foot, your knee, even with the socket of your hip. And then point and flex, Let's rotate around one way, rotate the other way. Lift it up, lift it up, lift it up. Can you bend forward and grab it anywhere? Little forward fold here, just a little, no big deal. You can grab hold of your ankle, see if you can just bring yourself down a little bit, feel that nice stretch up the back. And then gently release that and let everything fall back to the earth. Nice and tall again. Other foot. Bring that foot up. Try to get it even knee, even ankle, even with the hip. Ready? Point flex. Levi, downward dog. Levi can't do downward dog because of his hips. Not bad. Okay, now lift it up and see what you can grab. Whatever you can grab, just with one hand, right? And then get up tall and then see if you can come forward a little bit. Just a little bit, stretching out that back, stretching out the hips and the thigh and the hamstring. And then slowly release that. All right, one more really nice stretch. Take a big breath in. Let it out. Ready? Inhale those arms up. Bring it into prayer position and slowly start to bend towards the floor. So you're bringing your body long. So you're not round, nice and long. And you're just going to lay your abdomen down on your knees. You're going to bring your hands down to the floor, anywhere close, and you're just going to drop the head and let it out. And then move the shoulders around in some way that might feel good. Stretching the back out. Should feel really nice. Doesn't move around in the way that will. Now, bring your hands onto your knees and looking out ahead of you with a nice long spine. Come back up. Nice and slow. Nice. Take another deep breath in. Let it out. So we're gonna finish up with a little prayer and there's papers there. If you want to take this home, this is actually meditation on the sun to increase and spread your light. Great time to be spreading your light. But first, before we do that, we're gonna liven ourselves up a little bit. We're gonna do lion. So lion is great for the face. It's great for energy, right? So this is what it looks like. Usually you're on your knees and you come forward doing it, but we'll come forward from here. So you inhale, and then you go. If I tell you, you've got to stick your tongue out too. Ready? Inhale. Also, open the eyes really, really wide. Last time, Ray, make it a big one. Inhale. And then relax. See, if you do that 10 times a day, the rest of your life, you will have less wrinkles in your face. Too late. Because that really, because you tighten everything up, right? So, on that note, so this is a really, really simple prayer of light. And like I said, there's copies back there for it. So it's actually done in 3 parts, but to spare time, we're going to do all 3 in one. So it's love, peace, and light. So I'll say the first sentence and you just repeat after me. All right. So we have love, peace, and light before us. And imagine that. Love, peace, and light behind us. Love, peace, and light to the left of me. Love, peace, and light to the right of us. love, peace, and light above us. Love, peace, and light below us. Love, peace, and light deep within us. Love, peace, and light in our surroundings. Love, peace, and light in all beings on the planet. And love, peace, and light in the universe. And that is a prayer of light for the world. It says, by reciting this prayer of light daily, you automatically become the beneficiary, benefactor of mankind. By protecting the words of love, by projecting the words of love, peace, and light, you are sending out constructive healing vibrations of light to help uplift, enlighten, and heal others. The prayer of love, peace, and light makes you work in the light for the light. So let's just end with another Om, because there can't be enough Oms in a day. Ready? Take a breath in. Om. May all beings be happy and free and have clean water and food and shelter. Amen. So don't forget they're back there. Take them home. Once a day, it's a nice, easy prayer. Right? Oh, wow. Got the sun blessing.
Okay. Hey, so I was just, that reminded me of something that Mark Nepo said once. And I pointed out to our visitors the Book of Awakening and encouraged them to take a copy just in case we do that during the downtime here, and told her how much we love this. But so Mark Nepo said, and the tie-in is the light, about getting old, and talked about be like a meteor, shedding everything until there's nothing left but light. So that's what we're doing, I hope. Okay, beautiful ones, let's pass the offering baskets, and Raphael is just going to treat us to his own piano without us singing along. Wow, right? That's, oh, God. Beautiful. Thank you so very much for your gifts. We will use them as best we can to work for peace in the world. That reminds me, I heard from Margie, the Peace Center lady this week. I've been wondering, hadn't heard in a while. And, remember she and her husband came for a couple of times, and I was worried about how she was doing with the war. It's not easy to have loved ones on either side or both sides. I'd like to think that we are all on both sides. We all have love for people on both sides of that war. Anyway, Margie, sounds good. The Peace Center is great. They sent this letter of all the amazing things that they're doing. And there's a big fundraiser coming up in the fall, and they've invited us to, maybe be a sort of sponsor or, and we did agree, remember a while back, that we would try to have some sort of charitable presence, maybe a little more substantial than we might have done as individuals. So I just offer that, and I'll send what she sent me out to council and see what they think about that. So today's a treat. Except where? Oh, there he is. I thought we lost him. Otherwise, we'd have to be doing magic tricks up here. David Gibson's going to talk to us today. He has the most amazing trip coming up, and I will let him tell you about it. But you know that David's been involved in peace, where the rest of us have just been talking about it. Most of our adult lives, David's been doing the work, walking the walk, and he's going to visit the sites in Japan where the bomb was dropped this week. So I'm going to turn it right over to you. David. Get stuff out of your way.
Greetings. Good to see you all. What's up? Okay, can you hear me? All right. So I'm going to Hiroshima and Nagasaki next week. There's a world conference. I didn't know this. They do this. They've been doing this for years, almost since the beginning of the atomic age, where Japanese organization invites peace advocates from around the world, and we come and we have a conference every year. This year, it'll be on the eve of the 80th anniversary of the only time that nuclear weapons were ever used on humans, where that is just, I should say, strategically, because I'll get into a minute how nuclear weapons have been affecting humans in a lot of other ways rather than just being dropped on them. But this World's Conference is on the anniversary of the 80th event, and we'll be coming together and planning ways to make the world nuclear free. As a international community. And I was asked by my organization, Peace Action, to go represent them in Hiroshima and Nagasaki this year. So I'm very honored. They're doing the theme this year is to do this in realization of the Habakasha's wish to achieve a world without nuclear weapons in their lifetime. Who here knows who the Habakasha are? Anybody? The Habakasha are Japanese people who survived the dropping of the bombs. Many of them have passed on. Many of them have died from diseases like cancer. And some are still around. Some still live. And They're uniting the Habakasha with the downwinders. Who here knows who the downwinders are? The downwinders, actually, you know, we're all downwinders. The downwinders are people who were affected by the radioactive fallout from above ground nuclear testing. Because back in the 40s and the 50s, all tests of nuclear weapons were done above ground in, you know, in the air. And I wish I had brought a map. I could have had it put up here, but there's a map I can show you in the future that shows the radioactive fallout from the nuclear test sites that we have in Nevada, and how the prevailing winds have brought nuclear radiation across the country, so that everybody in the United States in the 40s and 50s and early 60s was affected by nuclear fallout. And one thing about radiation is the Habakasha can tell you, and the downwinders can tell you, is that, you know, this cancers and these diseases show up years later. So many people today who have contracted cancer could very well have gotten it in those days if you were alive back then. So I imagine some of you might have been alive back then. It seems odd that anybody here would be. I was. So we're all downwinders, and the downwinder community is a group of people in the West who, mainly in the West, who, you know, were directly affected and have been working for years to end the proliferation of nuclear weapons. As I've spoken here in the past before, we've done a pretty good job of reducing nuclear weapons over the years, from a height of 70,000 nuclear weapons down to roughly 12,000 today. But we're going in the wrong direction now, mainly as a result of the sort of depolarization, is that the right word? Of the world community, the fact that the US is no longer the #1 country, still the one, it's still probably the most powerful country, but now we're having these sort of different blocks that are forming, you know, the war in Ukraine is part of that. The buildup in the South China Sea to protect Taiwan from China is part of that. And there's also an effort among countries like China and Russia to set up alternative economic structures that compete with the ones that came out of World War II that were led mainly by the US and the Western countries. So we have a world now that's forming into various different blocks. The countries in the South have often been left out of some of the advantages that the countries in the North have gained from economic, you know, might and power. For me, going to Japan, it means the exchange rate for US dollars to yen is pretty good. Because the US dollar has been the world currency, but because of the competition now that's going on in the world, that's all changing. And as a result of that, the nuclear arms agreements that people like myself and the Habakasha and others have worked on for so long to make the world safer and reduce this threat of nuclear warfare is now shredded. And now we're looking at, we have one nuclear arms treaty left with the Russians, the New START Treaty, which reduced our intercontinental missiles, the strategic missiles. And now that's hanging by a thread because thanks to the war in Russia, Russia is no longer observing it. They're suspending it. Okay, suspending their participation in that treaty. The other treaty we have left is an international non-proliferation treaty, which was the one designed to keep nuclear weapons from spreading. Back when that was signed in the UN, there were 5 countries with nuclear weapons. Now there are 8, maybe 9, right? So that's not working quite as well as it should. And now we have a world where we're looking at countries building nuclear weapons back up again. Our country has said, well, you know, we're going to think about expanding our nuclear arsenal if Russia does. And Russia has threatened to expand their nuclear arsenal if we don't stop harming the Ukrainians. So here we are, back where we started, and we need to do something about it. So I'm happy, and well, happy isn't the right word. I'm honored and looking forward to going to Japan to hobnob with other peace activists and lay out plans to see if we can turn this around. And what I plan to do, I was invited by Rosalind earlier to speak about this at the session, at the service, at the, what do you call it? The Peace and War, right. And so I will be speaking to you on Zoom from Hiroshima next Sunday about all this and what we're doing, and kind of bring you all up to speed on that. So I look forward to that. I'm taking questions. Dave.
About the era of above ground nuclear testing. I vividly remember in the late 50s and the early 60s, scientists were talking about the amount of strontium-90 in the milk that we all drank.
It was in mother's milk and was found in baby's teeth. Yeah, as a matter of fact, one of the groups that is going to be represented at the conference is the Koreans, the South and the Korean people, because the Korean fishermen, when they did the Bikini Atoll test, so they did the Trinity test to test the bomb in the West, which you may have seen. If you saw Oppenheimer, that's a big part of the movie. And then we dropped 2 bombs, and then they started testing newer, more powerful weapons, hydrogen bombs, and the Bikini Atoll test, where they wiped out an entire atoll in the Pacific. The radiation, the nuclear fallout spread around the area, and there was a fishing boat, a North Korea or South Korean fishing boat that was hit by nuclear fallout, and a number of the sailors died. They came into port and they were all sick with radiation, and that was a rallying cry to drive nuclear testing underground. Our organization worked pretty hard on getting the limited test ban treaty. As a matter of fact, our organization was founded around the notion of getting a limited test ban treaty through Congress as a first step to getting an end to nuclear testing worldwide. Because if you can't test them, you can't develop them. That's the idea. And unfortunately, while the nuclear test ban was finally signed by Bill Clinton, the Senate has never ratified it. So we're one of the few countries in the world that hasn't ratified the nuclear test ban. So we've been kind of observing it, but if we go back to nuclear testing, there's nothing to keep us from doing that legally right now. There was another thing I wanted to add to that, but I forget what it was. Any other questions, Bill?
I was curious, David, if China in their buildup is responding to Russia as well as the US.
I think originally it was, and they always have that in their mind. Right now, China and Russia's relationship has improved. At one time, they were adversaries. So in strategic thinking, as I understand it, they plan to go to war with just about anybody, because no one can really be trusted. It's not about trust, as Reagan famously said, trust but verify, right? It's about being prepared for anybody. So that's it. That's the mindset. It's the mindset the military planners have. Someone here mentioned last time I spoke about the Navy preparing for the potential invasion of Japan, which never occurred. Some say because of dropping the bomb. Some say that wasn't necessary. That's an open debate. And I'm going to speak a little bit about that next time. But what the military will always do is prepare for the worst. That's their job. They will always prepare for the worst possible scenario because they're required to do that. And so kind of to answer your question, yeah, probably partially. At this point, it's more having nuclear weapons ensures 2 things. Your country isn't likely to be attacked directly because you can retaliate with overwhelming force. And it kind of makes you a member of the club, gives you a little more political cachet, if you will. And as China is trying to move into a more dominant or at least a more influential place economically around the world, nuclear weapons are important for them. And having more, since they're concerned about a possible confrontation with Taiwan, it's a pretty good sign to us. Leave us alone. If we're going to take Taiwan, we've got nukes. Of course, we've got nukes too. So some people have said nuclear weapons are unusable. And a lot of military people say they're unusable. And in the early days of before, when they were deciding whether or not to drop the bomb, there was a committee of military personnel who told Truman that these things are unusable. You can't use them because once you use them, it escalates and you're talking about everybody suffering, you know. So that's a long answer to your question. Other questions? Okay, thanks.
So yeah, thank you, David. And that is going to be so exciting. So we're going to live stream David. That's another good reason to try the Zoom thing next week if we are in fact at home. And if you haven't done it before, give it a go. David? Mm. Mm. I'm going to try and get that picture you sent me into the announcement this week so you can have a sense of what that looks like. Okay, so we've got some time. We're expecting our sandwiches around noon. And so we've got a little time to chat either about what David has presented so far or how's everybody doing? So Larry, it looks like you had something to say. And grab the microphone there.
Surprise, surprise, I was alive back then. I can always bring the historical perspective. One of the funniest things about the nuclear era and the standoff, and I'm talking dark humor, is that a common acronym of those days was MAD, M-A-D, which stood for Mutually Assured Destruction. And that's how the nuclear bombs worked. They were your safety card, you know. So on that basis, once they were developed, well, people would accept that. Getting rid of them is another thing entirely. And also I remember the strontium-90 in the milk. You know, there was a lot of news headlines all of a sudden about, whether you should drink the milk or not. And of course, I guess it was, the fallout was in everything. But people soldiered on, and here we are today. Russia is now threatening to use them on the Ukrainian battlefield, and it just goes on and on. Vote for peace.
Gift from a Tibetan monk came here with the concept for this peace center to create this walking meditation area for the common holy sanctuary, religious harmony. What a brilliant idea. And his son came back and asked, "Are we trying to do anything with it?" And I said, "Why, yes, I even found a globe," and found out how much it was. But we're looking at this as a concept that we can do out on our grounds for world peace. As a peace center, and we can have this in concept. We had some sketches up in the hallway, came up with an idea that we want to have with this and a large, like a 4-foot diameter globe as a focal point in the middle. And we're building towards a future to encourage world peace right here, right now. So Pebbles active.
I need to add something in response to Larry's comments. So, and also to follow up on what I was saying before, that they're kind of unusable. Well, they're unusable strategically if you don't want to create an end of the world, or a massive catastrophe. But they've almost been used several times, oftentimes through miscalculation. There was a Russian military tech who went into the office one day because the guy who normally was there was sick, and was told that there were US ICBMs on their way to Russia, and called the Kremlin and get ready to launch. And he waited until the computer checked itself and turned out to be a false alarm, because back then software was on big floppy disks. And so we almost would have had a nuclear war if the guy who was supposed to be on call had been there. We might have been gone a long time ago. This was in the 60s or so. And there's been a number of cases like that. There's also been a number of things called broken arrows, where nuclear weapons get lost or damaged. There's a bunch of nuclear bombs off the coast of North Carolina that they've never found, that just fell out of a B-52 as it was on its, exercises or whatever it was doing. And they're down there somewhere at the bottom of the sea rotting. They've never been able to find the things. So yeah, nuclear weapons have been a problem even without being used the way they were designed. Yeah.
Next Sunday, are you going to be 12 hours ahead of us?
It's going to be around 11 in the evening.
Or be Saturday night for us?
No, I'll be on your time. I'll be up late. You'll be at your normal time. And it should be outdoors in front of the Peace Park, because it should be well lit. But if that's not the case, you'll see me from my hotel.
Jen, so Dave, get the microphone. Jen.
Dave's talk sparked a memory. The closest I've gotten to the nuclear bomb is by meeting a nuclear physicist who was involved on the Manhattan Project. I met him because he ran this quirky little inn in Bisbee, Arizona. And one of the reasons it was so quirky is that he would imitate classic pieces of art and hang them on the outside of the inn. And my boyfriend at the time and I began talking to him about his background. And he said, after he realized the severity of what he helped develop, he ended up hospitalized in a mental institution, catatonic. So he had come out of it, and he seemed to have boundless energy. This man never seemed to sleep. He was working on a book for children explaining the theory of relativity. And the once and only time I had a corn dog and had a severe gallbladder attack, the only time in Y, Arizona, he was kind enough to take me to a doctor. I really appreciated this gentleman, and I attempted to get in contact with him several years later, and sadly, he had committed suicide.
When 3 Mile Island happened, I was working for the Pennsylvania Public Interest Coalition, and one of the fellows on our phone bank was a scientist who had access to information. It was never in the press like that, but he said that downwind of that accident, the radiometers were going off the charts. So it was not disclosed to the general public just how much radiation escaped from that accident. Secondly, David talked about that hero, really, that calm Russian guy. There was another incident during the Cuban Missile Crisis.
No, you go ahead.
Yeah, submarine commander. So he was being hounded under the water by an American destroyer. And they had they had nuclear torpedoes. And he was pressed to use them, but he didn't, because if he had, there is no telling how that would have spiraled out of control.
They do war games in these think tanks, and 9 times out of 10, they always escalate to full thermonuclear war.
Just, my earliest memories of nuclear weapons was really the Cuban Missile Crisis. Oh, I'm sorry. My earliest memories of nuclear weapons was the Cuban Missile Crisis. And I remember nightmares, probably for years after that, just of what would happen, and never expected to live to be this old. I was sure I was going to die in a nuclear holocaust. Just in related to what you were saying, Kennedy had agreed with Khrushchev that there was a 50-mile radius blockade off of Cuba, but the Navy ships were 100 miles off. So if the Russian commanders had not held back, we wouldn't be here today.
So that's just 2 examples of how we owe our lives to the Russians, or at least 2 Russians anyway.
I lived in Montgomery, Alabama on an Air Force base during the Cuban Missile Crisis, and it was big time. Like that get under your desk thing was really real, because that's within range there. We're going to want to sing and we're going to want to eat, so Barbara, a last comment from Barbara, and then we're going to sing and eat. Doesn't get any better than that.
Lest anyone think I would stay home and watch this on Zoom, I immediately schemed and thought, and the airfares are really high, right? So I tried to give it up. And the night before I was leaving for a meditation retreat, I said, let me look one more time. And there was this better airfare. I was thinking of going on a boat, and I just pressed the button. So I will be traveling to Japan. Any advice on how to learn Japanese in a week, and wardrobe? Oh, so I have 4 days.
Wonderful. You're leaving on the
My
2nd.
assistant.
You're leaving on the 2nd, and you'll be back on the ground here the 10th, I think you said. So anyway, guys, how cool is that? So, all right, let's sing. We're going to do Arms Around the World, and then we will get up and join hands and sing Let There Be Peace on Earth. So Arms Around the World. What did I do? All right, stand up, folks. Come on. Arms around the world, systems. Arms around the world that rediscover. Arms around the world that is no strong in love and peace. The world that's meant to be, and peace. Peace around the world. Peace around the world that we discover. Peace around the world that we discover. Okay, let's circle up for Let There Be Peace on Earth. I got one little thing to read while we're setting up here. Hey, everybody. Hey, guys, here's a sweet thing that came across maybe this is not a good idea. Oh, okay, go in peace. Maybe we'll be here next week, maybe not. Love everybody. Good luck. David and Barbara, have a great trip. And love you all. And thank you, Esty and Cheryl, for coming.